Good morning. I welcome everyone for this Gallup Solutions webinar, Accelerating Digital Transformation Journey. That's going to be the topic for the webinar today. I have the pleasure of having Sai Chintala, Senior Vice President for Global Enterprise Solutions at Gallup Solutions, who will be presenting the webinar. Before I move a little bit deeper into the topic, today's world, global enterprise is being swept away by digital. Digital is about being omnipresent. It's about the confluence of technologies that are sweeping the enterprises. It is about the faster delivery of software. It is about being intelligent, and it is about being first time correct. It is also about being rightful experiences for the customers. It is about ensuring reliable software that can ensure the software behaves well across platforms consistently with performance that caters to the distributed computing architectures that sweeps the world today. Last but not the least, all at an exhilarating acceleration. Without much delay, let me also introduce a little bit about Gallup Solutions. Gallup Solutions, the agenda for today is about introducing Gallup, a little bit about the speaker profile, and more into what digital is all about. Gallup Solutions is #1 independent software testing services company in North America, subsidiary of Signity Technologies, the world's third largest independent software testing services company. The key thing at Gallup that we focus is all about coming across as a sustained demonstrator of global test engineering thought leadership that comes through our persistent attempt to come across as a vendor with complete focus on intellectual property-led software testing services. That could be through demonstration of the patents that we bring in test engineering world. It could be through wide array of our contributions back to the community in terms of speaking opportunities, in terms of webinars, in terms of contributions to the learning around test engineering as a discipline. Globally, we as a brand have been recognized by the leading analysts of the world. The Gartners, the Nelson House, the Forresters, and the Everest have taken note of what we are in the software test engineering world. Over the last decade and a half, we've championed the cause of more than 500 plus global enterprise clients, enriching, accelerating the software test engineering initiatives, and we have charted the growth impressively with more than 58% of compounded annual growth, particularly in the last 3 years. With that said, it's a pride factor for us. We serve more than 35 of Global 2000 companies, and across the world, our testing thought leaders have gone and presented and shared the best practices of software test engineering. With more than 400 testing folks in North America and ever-growing workforce of 2,000 plus resources worldwide, Gallup and Signity together have been championing the quality engineering initiatives. Without much delay, now let me take the opportunity to introduce today's speaker. Speaker par excellence, I have the privilege of introducing Sai Chintala, Senior Vice President Global Enterprise Solutions at Gallup Solutions. With more than 24 years of test engineering expertise that has spanned across all the continents of the world, particularly the last 6.5 years in independent software testing, Sai brings unparalleled experience in terms of working more than 300 customers across the domains and verticals, helping them transform their quality engineering initiatives. Be it solution architecting, be it managing the delivery, or be it performing world-class delivery organizations and advising to the CXO level folks in enterprises, Sai has been a champion speaker across multivarious testing conferences across the world. Today, under Sai's leadership, the best of the breed testing solutions get architected and rolled out for a global clientele. In today's presentation and webinar, Sai is going to share some rich insights about what is it being about in the digital world, what are those champion practices that we believe are very important for enterprises to stay successful in the digital transformation era. Without much delay, let me hand it over to Sai, and I welcome once again all of you to what looks to be an exciting webinar and an hour of learning assured. Thank you so very much. This is Sairam Vedam, and I run the global marketing at Gallup Solutions. Sai, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Sairam, for the flattering introduction. Thanks to the Gallup team for asking me to host this webinar on accelerating digital transformation journey. Thanks to all the participants for joining all around the world. Let us get into the topic right away. Let me first start with what is not digital transformation. Digital transformation is not about adding a www and .com to your business name. It is not about adding a shopping cart, or it is also not about creating just a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page or a social page. Also, it is not about just digitizing part of the existing services. So today's market space is driven by rapid adoption of technology. If an enterprise is not adopting early enough, soon they would get into land of irrelevance. So remember what happened to Blockbuster, Kodak, many other companies. They have learned any of these horror stories in our MBA classes or HBR magazine reviews. Real digital innovators are those who are effectively leveraging digital technologies such as cloud, social media, data science, and leveraging technologies such as wearables, micro devices, IoT, and much more. In the last 5 years, I've seen many companies such as Uber, Alibaba, Airbnb, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook. These are one of the major digital disruptors in the last 5 years. They are the ones who are not just disrupting folks, companies in their industry, actually they're affecting companies in the peers industries also. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation begins with absolute transformation of organizational processes, organizational culture, how innovation is being adopted and followed within an organization, how technology is rapidly being leveraged and adopted, how design principles are used in the product design, and how innovative strategies embraced, evangelized within the organization. So if done well, all of this should result in customer products that are easy to use, fun to use, interactive, products that are intelligent. Most importantly, the products which are fast and secure. Digital innovators are those who are actually effectively engaging their customers or employees if it's meant to be within the organization, and they're building the products which are highly customer centric. So enterprises can go digital in multiple ways. They can go ground zero, or they can begin a efficient and effective transformation. So how does it all translate into the real world? Let us discuss how digital transformation is effectively used in some of my favorite industries, retail, travel, hospitality, and banking. I shop online a lot, and I travel quite a bit. I have customers in 13 countries and 5 continents where I'm actively serving, and I do get on the plane quite at the many of the leading hotels. I've noticed successful retailers across the globe are enabling services on the diverse mobile OEM platforms, enabling shopping across choice of devices. They're actually embracing omni-channel support truly. When I shop, for example, on Amazon or Flipkart or Snapdeal, I can start a transaction on iPhone, then I can go home and finish 80% of my transaction on iPad. Then actually, if I have a question, I can call 1-800 number and get clarified, and then I can choose to pick it up next door, just few blocks away instead of shipping up to 2-3 days. So that's the true omni-channel support a digital innovator is providing. I found these companies providing entire experience to be clear, complete, connected, transparent, interactive, and most importantly, reliable and secure. When I walk into my favorite retail stores across the US, and I get a custom alert, context-sensitive coupon alert, where is the item stocked, and when I go to the checkout area, there is a self-service kiosk, and I actually pay entire merchandise using contactless payment options. Life is bliss. When I travel on an airline, I get all kinds of alerts on change of flight schedule, boarding gate, digital pass, price alerts. And when I stay at high-end hotel chain sometimes, I can walk into my room directly using my phone as a door key or control some of the appliances such as air-conditioned TV through my phone app. So let me not get into the fun of renting a car. So life is so easy. And when is the last time you have gone into a bank? And for me, it's only once I've been to a bank in the last 1 year to open account for my kids. Banks have come a long way in digital transformation. I spoke about this at a BFSI conference in Goa, India last year. Coincidentally, we are also doing QA transformation for one of the Europe's largest online banks. So I can talk a lot on this topic, but let me stop it. What's common across all these enterprises? These are the companies which have re-engineered their current business models. They have gone through strategic business transformation. They have innovated their processes. They have built applications using proper design principles. They have effectively leveraged cloud. They're using data science to understand their customers, clients, and making sure that entire experience is customer-centric. So what does analysts speak about digital? So apparently over 21 billion IoT devices are to be innovated in next 4 years. In just 4 years, by 2020, over 70% of CEOs will begin to worry about the digital customer, if not worried already. E-commerce penetration is expected to triple by 2025. What does it all mean? It means that an enterprise would join a land of irrelevance if the journey has not begun already. Most importantly, what an enterprise is using to go digital. So what kind of a tools, technology, what kind of a partner they have. So we realize that there is no industry which is not immune to threat of not going digital or not immune to digital disruption. So what is the schema for going digital? While this session is not about how to go digital, however, I can offer a few takeaways based on the trends, based on my interaction with the various digital officers of the enterprise that I'm working today. It all starts with mobile first culture or a digital first culture, and it starts with begins with comprehensive assessment of current legacy processes, use of proper digital technology, assessment of gaps with regards to industry trends and the competition. Finally, solid agreement and consensus from all the stakeholders on what needs to be done. It also involves comprehensive review of technology used today, what is relevant for tomorrow. This is a piece which is rapidly changing. One needs to look way ahead in the future and be future-proof in terms of the features, the technology, and the business trends. And also there is an important need to decide whether you want to build or buy or lease on some of the tools and the skills that are relevant to make digital journey a success. It also tends to have a strategic clear partner involved from the blueprint phase so that shift left can happen. Shift left is a mantra which can significantly reduce amount of rework if the right clear partner is involved from the beginning. Hope everybody can hear me, and if there are any questions, please feel free to type in the chat window, and my colleagues will alert me once the session is over. And what is the role of technology in the digital transformation? Here I've given an example of healthcare industry. So you have a typical wearable healthcare device. You can think of any popular IoT wearable which is available in the market, which is constantly monitoring your vitals, such as heartbeat, pulse, blood pressure, sugar levels, and it's also keeping track of amount of medication that you're taking. All this information is constantly fed into the cloud. Your healthcare provider has access to this data, so he is using different tools or processes, applying technology, applying relevant data science to make sense of both structured and unstructured data that is being generated in the ecosystem of the IoT in the context. By the time one visiting the doctor office today, he is likely to have a comprehensive report of the vitals, associated trends, health trends, influences, and also he is ready with appropriate recommendations and suggestions. Again, these are also stored in the app server and are quickly accessible, and all this information is again pushed to the pharmacist for the right disbursement of right time and the right dosage of information. So here, what do we see the technology? We see leveraging the social, you're leveraging the mobile, and you see analytics, data science, and we see complete automation of the processes. So again, let's get into how does testing plays a role in this space. What is the role of assurance in the digital dimension? So what are the expectations of today's users who is smarter than ever and who has access to a great deal of choices in any given field of industry? So they simply want an app or a product to be very easy to use, intuitive to use, interactive, intelligent, and they want application to deliver information at faster pace. They want application to ensure absolute security of the data that they are providing, and they want application free from both the known and unknown vulnerabilities, and they want applications that are constantly reliable also. So how does right care partner, whether you are using a care partner internally or externally, ensures them? So it is done via comprehensive usability testing, accessibility testing, performance engineering, performance testing, comprehensive validation of middle tier, web services, API, and proper interoperability testing, and testing of the omni-channel integration, and responsive web design testing, and customer experience and customer journey validation. And again, all of this needs to be done in coordination with the proper test management, the data management in place, test environment in place. We at Gallup, we recommend a CX lab, what we call as a customer experience lab, where an application can be built, tested from the end user dimension in terms of usability, performance, and security. Only when a CX lab certifies the build, it shall be deployed in the production. For example, for testing a mobile app, so we recommend that an app is subjected to various network bandwidth and network conditions, for example, 2G, Edge, 3G, LTE, using various throttling techniques, so that end user experience can be measured and reported. So that is what we recommend. That's the true component of a customer experience lab, and only when it's certified, an app can go into the wild. And so let me get into the digital assurance engineering. What is DAE platform? So what the objective of digital assurance is providing perfect customer experience is the goal for any digital transformation journey. Hence, test spectrum does involve comprehensive customer sentiment analysis, understanding of customer wish, pain points, assessment of usability, both from content, creativity, accessibility perspective, and also adherence to the internationalization principles, and also usage of in-sprint performance and security testing. All these are part of the testing spectrum. Given the need for continuous deployment, which has become a mandate, Agile, which is led by DevOps, is a must for any enterprise which wants to deploy products faster than ever. So the DevOps automatic obviously calls for continuous deployment, which means there is a need for continuous development, again, which means there is a need for continuous integration, which calls for continuous testing. How does continuous testing can happen? Which means no, there should be a lot of automation involved in the life cycle of the product. So as many events needs to be automated. So let's quickly a little bit deep dive into what is sentimental social analysis and usability analysis. Every customer-facing application today is influenced by strong customer feedback. So this analysis helps us to take a deep dive on how customer is reacting to a given feature or an update, which can be easily concluded by a score that we can devise. Why this comes under testing? And it's a good question. Test engineering will help to identify and validate appropriate issues and helps the respective teams to focus on pain points and directly help improve the quality. So this is how digital QA can take to the next level. Amazon and Facebook are the classic examples of continuous deployment. They do daily, hourly deployments. Why? Because they are reacting to the customer sentiments and feedback continuously, and they are continuously improving. Again, so there is a need for customer sentiment analysis, and doing a detailed social media analysis also helps in finding comparative analysis of similar products, feature enhancements. So it's nothing but what world has to say about your product. And with regards to the creativity and content, a great product is often a result of creativity and nuance of the customer centricity in the application. The greater the customer centricity, directly relates to the customer engagement. For example, I'll give an example of ordering a pizza. So an application, when you order a pizza, you can just say that, hey, your pizza has been ordered and it will be delivered at a certain time. However, the digital innovators such as Pizza Hut or Domino's, and I've seen even in some of the local chains, so they have apps are becoming very, very creative and innovative. When I order for a pizza, and I'm now tempted to keep seeing my app every 5 minutes because it's giving various interesting status stats now. My order has been placed, my pizza has been baked, and my pizza has been packed and sort of a delivery. and some of them actually giving the name and number of the delivery person. If they get lost, then I can actually call them and ask them to come and give them a shortcut to my home. So that's how customer centricity is applied these days. In the digital QA, it's important to test from these dimensions to give appropriate feedback to the product owner, how the product application is behaving. Maybe in the future we'll have a role of what we call a creative test engineer also, so that we are compelled to give a lot more inputs. So regarding the omni-channel testing, as I said before, giving an omni-channel experience is a key driver in the digital transformation journey. Providing consistent experience across the customer for the customers, irrespective whether it's seeking information or services, whether it's coming from a web or whether it's transacting from a mobile, or whether it's through a walk-in, or whether through a phone. So experience has to be consistent. So how do we validate all of this? So we have to do comprehensive cross-channel integration testing. It involves integration testing, web services validation, responsive web design testing, usability testing, again customer experience testing. Responsive web design is very important because if it's an iOS, there are only 20 to 30 different models are possible. If it's an Android, last I checked, there are 4,000 different models. If you look at Samsung, HTC, and other popular models that you can think of, there are hundreds and thousands of different models in the different countries and locations, and each of them has a different size and technical specs. So if you were to ensure that your application is gracefully handling various sizes and resolutions, responsive design is very important. So coming to testing Internet of Things. So as I told earlier, IoT is becoming really fast mainstream. So we have home appliances, wearable devices, smart meters, smart devices, which have become part of our life. There is lots of analysis being done on this space. The forecast looking really strong, and we have a lot of innovative products already in the market and which are coming soon. When it comes to testing these products, it's a must to test beyond standard functional verification. Yes, usability and non-functional testing does take the priority, but when IoT devices or applications talk to each other, integration has to be perfect, robust, and seamless, and it has to ensure great performance and customer-centric experience to the users under the context. So I've given a couple of examples in this case. For example, controlling a home appliance from a mobile app. So this is a scenario where media streaming device would be controlled from a mobile device, and in turn, streaming device is connected to a Wi-Fi router. Here, multiple devices are connected together, and above mentioned testing categories must be performed to validate that seamless experience for the end user. Again, the same throttling experience applies here, simulating various conditions of the real world or conditions in the wild needs to be tested on the different apps, mobiles, OEM, and different network providers. All this needs to be really tested well in the customer experience lab. Similarly, starting a car engine from your mobile app. So this is a scenario where a mobile app may be used for starting the car. So which means, so at the beginning of the application launch, there is a need for registering the car with mobile app using the unique identification. All this has to be done in a microsecond, which means entire integration has to be robust and proper performance reliability testing needs to be done. So please continue to ask any questions if there's anything that needs to be repeated, and I'll love to go back and cover again. So regarding the DevOps, the DevOps is playing a key role in the digital assurance engineering. So DevOps plays a very big role in accelerating the whole test life cycle with what we call as a continuous everything as the mantra. So with the continuous deployment become a mandate with the need to quickly react to customer sentiment and feedback. So there is a lot of push for frequent releases, frequent patches, frequent updates, go to the market faster than ever. So continuous deployment has become something, a norm and a mandate to stay competitive in the industry today. So to make continuous deployment a reality, continuous development needs to happen, which means code is constantly being developed, built, and integrated, and which needs to be tested quickly. So all this calls for QA to play a big role in ensuring that all the new code is being continuously tested. So all of this can be happen in a sprint, which can be at 14 days or 21 days, which means a lot of the process in a sprint needs to be automated. What we call as a full life cycle test automation, or a full life cycle business process automation. All this needs to be happen. And also in the DevOps space, testing also plays a solid role in continuous monitoring, which provides continuous feedback loops to the parties under the context. So both application and the infrastructure needs to be continuously monitored, and using both functional process and non-functional process. So in this case, in the case of the feedback loops, there can be a threshold defined so that an alert can be created to the respective teams, and the teams in the context could be remediation support team, or a dev team, or a business team. At the same time, a proper priority is given to the critical scenarios. So based on the alert type, appropriate automated scripts also can be triggered to again validate the health of the application under the context. So there are all off-the-shelf applications such as HP, BSC does a good job on this. So tester or a digital test engineer plays a key role in the DevOps. On each of the areas that I have marked, whether it's in continuous automation or integration or a continuous monitoring. So there is a great deal of role is involved by the digital test engineer. So coming to the analytics plays a big role in the digital transformation, specifically when it combines data from different sources. I see applications, the data that we get from various sources and applications that are live in production. I do get data related to the user behavior, user distribution, geographical spread, application-specific data, and I also get data from external sources in a cloud or sentiment analysis or a customer survey paper. There is a great deal of structured, unstructured data that is coming in, which is of a great help to testing team. So all of this will directly, indirectly helps us, deriving predictive metrics and also prescriptive metrics. All of this helps us, taking meaningful decisions at the right time. For example, to arrive at a proper workload modeling algorithm in the performance testing requires tremendous amount of effort. Sometimes weeks to months of data is needed depending on the complexity of the application. If the analytics can generate appropriate data, overall effects can be significantly reduced. So all this data can also be used to create dashboards, scorecards, prediction models, and also segmentation of the customer sentiment analysis too. So I mentioned about when I talked about DevOps full lifecycle automation. So this is a snapshot of what the Gallup recommends with regards to blueprints for lifecycle automation. Our mantra is to automate early, automate often, automate as much as possible. So we have automated as many processes as possible in the test life cycle to ensure DevOps a reality and make it realization as effective as possible. It all begins with, as soon as the source code is written, automated static code analysis, using both open source tools or the commercial tools. So there are many tools out there, and comprehensive execution of functional automation of the test scripts, and automated execution of performance test scripts, automated performance monitoring, automated build verification. We also automated infrastructure provisioning, build packaging. We also automated security vulnerability scanning. And we have processes and events and scripts to continuously monitor post-production events and do a health check, and also automated significantly deployment process also. So all of these are actually needed to make continuous testing and continuous deployment a reality, because we have very little time in the sprint, and so automation of as many processes possible makes a big help. So as you can see from this blueprint, we have not left much which is not automated in the life cycle. So that's our mantra: automate early, automate often, automate everything. And similarly, with regards to the performance testing, I reiterated many times throughout the last 25-30 minutes. In the application in the wild, performance security is extremely critical. So this is our work breakdown structure for how in sprint performance testing can happen. So this is our it includes processes such as proactive assessment of performance, reliability, and scalability of the system under context. It starts with the script development, workday modeling, scenario design, and instrumentation of the code during the week one, followed by application profiling. And once we profile, isolating functionalities with potential issues, proper deep dive of execution analysis, finally reviewing bottleneck analysis with the development and support teams. So there are proper activities, roles, and events which are designated and what can happen within a given sprint with regards to the performance testing. So with regards to security testing, it's very similar. We do recommend continuous security testing as part of the digital QA, which includes assessment of the, sometimes all the top 10 vulnerabilities reported by or recommended by OWASP, or sometimes based on the technology stack in context, based on the application in context, and then based on the type of industry, type of domain in the region. So this can be or based on the backlog of the sprint, based on the features of the application. The call needs to be taken on what is the approach, what is the focus area, what are the vulnerabilities, what kind of a application scan and security vulnerability analysis needs to be done. So we do recommend a repository of knowledge to be built so that all this activity can be minimized to as minimal time as possible, so that all of this can be done within the sprint. So this is a quick overview of what is digital transformation journey and what we are seeing in the industry, and how Gallup today is helping on the enterprises. And if I were to repeat again, enterprises, there's no choice other than going digital to stay relevant in the industry. I speak to many of the digital officers. Everybody is already on the path to the digital transformation journey, and Gallup is their trusted and strategic partner in many of these cases. And also it is very important that and enterprises are aware of what are the trends in industries, what are the technologies that are relevant to them, what are the tools that make digital transformation success. It could be combinations of open source or commercial. Again, a proper diligence needs to be made when to build, when to buy, when to lease some of these tools or services, so that entire transformation journey can be a success. There is no guesswork involved in the journey. And as I said, the digital QA is different from traditional QA. It involves comprehensive aspects and sampling of various types of testing done effectively within the limited time. So there should be a great deal of knowledge on what to test, when to stop testing, and how to arrive at what is the test bed. For example, if you're testing your mobile application on different devices, so there are so many thousands of models and combinations and OEMs and network providers and operating systems that are possible. If you combine mathematical product of all these combinations, is practically impossible. So one needs to have a solid knowledge on how to determine what is the optimal test bed and what are the optimal number of test scenarios, and how much testing is done, when to automate, and how to make inference from the data that is coming from test engineering based on what are the inferences and what are the predictions that you can do based on the past history. So digital test engineer and digital QA plays a key role, and we recommend making digital test engineers and digital testing lab and customer experience lab as part of your key organization. And and Gallup has been helping many of the enterprises in this journey. So there are many ways to do it. So you do it on your own, or find somebody who can partner and guide you in the right track for the digital transformation. So this is a quick summary, folks. I love to interact with you, online or offline, and reachable on emails also. I think it's the end of my presentation, and I'll let Sairam take over, and then I'll interact.
Yeah. First and foremost, Sai, I think it's been quite insightful. Some of the key takeaways, if I have to summarize, for enterprises to go, stay, and successfully be digital and to be relevant, I believe it's all about automation. It's all about perennial automation and leveraging on investments into labs that can transcend across both non-functional and what seems to be a new paradigm about customer experience, which will be the fulcrum of digital assurance. So with that said, let me open up this for some questions. The first question that I have coming on the way. So, Sai, as I understand from you, there seems to be a mind shift that needs to happen for kind of offering digital assurance. So what do you think would be the top 3 changes the testing organizations have to make, be it inside an enterprise or be it from a vendor perspective, to be very relevant in digital assurance services?
I think DevOps has become a mandate because there is a great urgency for all the product owners to release products faster than ever, which means Agile led by DevOps has become a mandate. Again, which calls for continuous deployment, continuous integration, which means continuous testing is the mantra. If continuous testing should happen within the sprint, which means there is a need for automating as many processes as possible. Again, so how do you automate in an ecosystem where there are diverse technology and diverse tools out there? So you need to have a proven automation framework which can flourish in this enterprise ecosystem and which can make automation a reality in this enterprise ecosystem.
Right. That's fantastic, Sai. So while at the beginning of this, I was listening to you that you've been helping some of the emerging global enterprises in digital transformation. Maybe could we pick a couple of examples, Sai? Is there an example you could share, maybe in a retail or any of the industries where you've already had the success in terms of helping them achieve digital assurance? You have some insights.
Yeah, so we are doing in multiple industries. One is I talked about the first online bank in the Europe, so where we are doing comprehensive testing because there's only one channel for them, so all the services are offered through mobile phones and mobile applications. So they need to ensure that the application is seamlessly and gracefully accessible across the OEMs and across the platforms, across the network providers in entire Europe. So and they have limited time. So the knowledge that Gallup has was very critical on what is the ideal test bed, what is the ideal test environment, what are the test scenarios, what is the analytics that make sense for that Europe region.
Right.
So we played a key role in helping ensuring their online bank launch a huge success.
So while that is really glad to kind of hear, what I also understand, I think digital commerce is much beyond the traditional e-commerce, right? So today there are applications which transcend streaming, which transcend devices, and which transcend multivariate fabrics of touch points.
Yeah.
So do you have some insights? I believe you also do a lot of work around retail and e-commerce in terms of digital testing.
That's right. So it's a popular e-commerce player in launching media services in India in the next few quarters. So they have approached us to test streaming of their media content on a dozen different mobile platforms on 4 different network providers within the India from 5 different cities, both tier 1 and tier 2 cities. We created a customer experience lab and customer experience journey flows to ensure that we are able to simulate throttling of the conditions, both edge, LTE, 4G, 3G, 2G, GPRS from tier 1 and tier 2 cities on the different devices, and tested it on the road, in the malls, while driving in the car. What happens a lot of times you're playing media content, when you're driving across the cities, and when your telephone signals are switching from one radar to one telephone tower to other telephone tower. So we are simulating all those conditions and give them a comprehensive report when their application is buffering, when is not buffering, and give them a solid analytics and report so that they can confidently launch their streaming services and platform in the coming quarter.
Wonderful. So that also brings to my notice of your touch base about analytics. I believe in one of the slides you also were speaking about sentiment analysis and analytics-based testing.
Yeah.
Would there be some experience that you could share maybe around airlines or retail where you kind of touch base some of this?
Sure, yeah. So we one of the world's leading beverage provider and one of the leading low-cost airlines. So we have done sentiment analysis based on the various millions of tweets across the geography. One of them in Europe, one of them in the entire North America. We did a tweet analysis and received all the information through both social media channels and their own internal web application servers, and give them a comprehensive analysis on what is the data that we got and what is the feedback that they're seeing, and appropriately designed test strategy, test scenarios, and give them a comprehensive report on and confidence on what needs to be tested and when testing needs to be stopped. So which is a very critical role that we played.
That seemed to be a truly digital one side. So while I completely understand that, I think today's digital platforms is also about interactions and orchestrations with third-party payment gateways and payment applications, which is very important.
Yeah.
You also touched base about security testing, right? So you have some insights why testing of third-party payment applications and particularly security is important in digital paradigm.
So, because that's the area, many of the, end users are still, worried, and they do not have enough confidence whether their data is safe. So we have a team of, certified ethical hackers, and I think we have what we call honeypot, where we attract all kind of vulnerabilities to simulate ideal conditions in the wild, and we actually test payment gateways for some of the leading payment gateway providers across India, and 80% of the transactions go through those payment gateways. We are the certified auditors for them, in ensuring that their gateway is free from all the known vulnerabilities within the space.
Right. So that also brings me, I think I was noting down when you were speaking about responsive web design and testing toolkits for that as part of your acceleration. Yeah. Would you throw some light on that side?
Yeah, that's my favorite topic. So when 3 years ago, when a large enterprise in US approached us, when responsive web design was becoming a mainstream in many of the retailers in North America, so they approached for proper strategy. So then we built what we call as applets, which fast tracks validation of conformance to the responsive web design. Specifically, there are so many models out there just within the Samsung and HTC OEM. There are 300 to 400 models out there. So validating that the application gracefully handles various resolutions, various size of the devices, and various OEMs, and works gracefully in the various network conditions. So that again, you have very little time to validate everything. So we have a solid repository of knowledge, what kind of scenarios to be tested on what device. We know when iOS works and when Android works, and when HTC fails and when Samsung does not fail. So because testing time is very, very finite and testing conditions are infinite. So you need to have a proper, smarter way to determine and optimize your test life cycle.
Wonderful. I think that's quite insightful. So one last question on that note. I was also looking at the slide where you were in depth talking about cyclical performance testing.
Yeah.
So I think in today's world where it is all about spiking up to the loads that incessantly users demand,
That's right.
What do you think should be the strategy that someone should adopt so that you stay relevant for a digital email user?
Absolutely. So performance used to be an afterthought at one time. That's a big no. It has to be performance testing has to be seamlessly viewed across the software test life cycle. And what happened to the $1 billion sale at Flipkart? It was a big failure because they had not done proper capacity planning and benchmarking and resizing their hardware. So if they were approached companies like Gallup, we would have easily simulated what would happen when million users are transacting on a given website from 10 different cities and 10 different conditions. This is something smarter retailers are approaching us ahead of Black Fridays and Thanksgivings and Mother's Days. So performance testing has gained a lot of importance, and that's a niche skill, and that has to be done by professionals with proper tools, techniques, and knowledge of various applications under context.
Wonderful. So that has been a thoroughly richful treatise about different aspects of quality engineering that have to be implemented to stay successful for a digital transformation initiative. I believe at Gallup, we will continue to chat the endeavor of sharing our knowledge, calling for the best practices around software test engineering. Let us stay focused in ensuring better quality software gets rolled out for enterprises to stay successful in digital era. I thank all of you for staying for this webinar. Once again, I thank Sai for sharing his insights. I believe it will be useful for all of us. We welcome some more questions that you could write us back with. The recorded version of the webinar will also be available for replay. Many more webinars to come. Gallup will be at the forefront of software test engineering and innovation. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, everyone.